Welcome to WHU Inside Business. I'm Schlereth and I'm here with Achim Berg, VP of Bitkom, operating partner of General Atlantic, former CEO of Microsoft Germany and Otto, just to name some of the stages of your career. It's justified to say that you're a true leading European expert in digitalization. Achim, it's great to have you here.
Thank you.
In the talk that you gave at the WHU, you presented your view on digitalization and how it will impact our lives. My own view on digitalization is that the term digitalization is a chameleon. It's used in many different ways by different people. So for the first question, I would like to know first what your understanding of digitalization is, and maybe if you could name your top 3 most sustaining trends for businesses.
You're totally right. It's used in so many ways. It's meaningless at the moment because everybody's using digitization. It comes everywhere. I think let me try to figure out what I think it's important. Something happened the last couple of years. We had a big trend the last 20, 30, 40 years, but the last 5 years something happened. First of all, robotics is much better. We have the robots can touch things much smarter, much softer. That's one thing. The second thing is artificial intelligence is going really good. It's really smart. It's not artificial intelligence. It's more big data, but it's intelligence. This is something which happens as well. And the third one is voice recognition. It's much better than 5, 10, or 15 years ago because they really understand you. They can translate in real time. That's one reason why digitization is going really fast. What I would say is important for me to understand. Digitization is very positive, but on the other side, it will reduce, or maybe 50% of all jobs in Germany or in the US can be done by robots in 20 years from now. And therefore, if you see who is successful and will be successful in the next couple of years, it's quite simple. Companies who either own platforms or own many data, they're quite successful because they can use digitization for the future. And this is something, if one thing I would like to mention here is be aware that you either produce a platform or use tons of data. That's quite important.
But how do you see then the role of Germany for pursuing such a goal?
I hear all the time, oh, Germany's behind and Germany's not doing well. And do we have really the right startups? Do we have innovation? Yeah. I think it's completely wrong. Because if you see what's going on in Germany, we have super smart people with super smart ideas. We have super smart startups. Probably one thing, it's not the case. We don't have the domestic market like, for example, the US or China or India. But they have a huge domestic market, especially in the B2C area. Yeah. They're much more successful because they have many more people, and the scale is much higher. That's the reason. But in terms of technology, we are quite good. Probably one thing is important. We in the European Union, we have over 500 million people here. Why not having one data rule or data protection rule, or why not have all the legacy over in every single city, country the same? This is something which could really help us to create a huge domestic market. This is the only thing which is missing. It's not the creativity of the people, it's probably the legislation and the stuff in the different countries. How complicated it is to go from Germany to France to Italy to Spain. That's the worst thing.
So it's something that only a government can solve, actually, yeah. Or is it?
That's the one thing, and the second thing is education. If you see, especially in Germany, how behind our education is in the digital education. Yeah. It's super behind. We don't have the right content. We don't have digital content. We don't use computers or laptops or tablets at school. It's compared to other countries like the US, like the UK, and many others. We are far behind. That's a thing which needs to be solved.
Okay. 15 years ago, we talked about Web 2.0. 10 years ago, we talked about social media. 6 years ago, we talked about cloud computing. When we've stopped talking about digitalization, what's going to be the next dominating trend?
Digitalization is the new normal. Everything is digital. Therefore, I don't think we talk about digitalization in 10 or 15 years from now. I think what we talk about is interaction. How we interact together, how we work together, how we live together. This is something which got lost the last couple of years. How is real interaction? What does it mean? What are we spending time together? What's our hobbies? Everything. I think this is even more important than all the technology. We are super driven by technology at the moment. I can't wait to have a normal talk anymore and talk about digitalization all the time. Yeah. Let's talk about the mankind, what we do together, how we interact together, is even more important.